Hello, and welcome back to Divine Journey 2. Last time we set up these multi-blocks here, these two thermal evaporation plants and that thermoelectric boiler over there in order to make lithium, DT fuel, and steam from there to combine all into steaming Rhostonia crystals. Those steaming Rhostonia crystals used for many things, not the least of which being these incredible factories or quantum entangleporters, but the most important to us is going to be the laser drill. Specifically, I have enough stuff to make 12 laser drill bases, 12 laser drills and 3 laser bases. This should be enough to get us 3 laser drills, of which I would like to replace all of our excavators. I would like to replace our excavators with these laser drills because the excavators only really mine one or a couple ores, whereas the laser drill can get a lot of things. In particular, checking here on the docket, I have a few drill sites marked out, one being in the end, one being in the overworld, and maybe one in the nether, maybe another in the overworld, because there's a few things that in the laser drill have specific Y values that you need to be at. For example, coal can be basically anywhere in the world, whereas diamonds have to be very low, and tin has to be very high. Found that 10 hits a lot of really good things for us. Platinum and diamonds were obviously some very big ones, as well as hitting a lot of the main ores. I believe the ones that we're really missing are copper, tin, and a handful of other things, but nothing too terrible, nothing that we can't fix through other means, that's for sure. And then obviously we're going to need one in the end for Iridium, which is the actual reason why they want you to make a laser drill, that being Iridium. So for perhaps the final time, we are shelving our excavators. It's probably actually not going to be the final time. I'm thinking we might end up using them in the future for probably aerogel, as I believe aerogel is something you can excavate for in the Aether, and we might need more of that in the future. I don't know if we will, but we might. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, though, we need to make a white laser lens for the quest. So... I also need Iridium. We'll also get an extra lens, and the cool thing, actually, is if I'm not mistaken, you can just chisel these, which is really nice. So you can just swap them on the fly. We'll make another one, actually. Not sure if we'll ever need it, but it's not too expensive for us at this point, so, who really cares? Before we get too carried away, though, let's not forget why we need the laser drill, which is to drill the end for some iridium, so let's go do that first. The spot at 00 here should do us nicely. So if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't actually have to even be in the void, really, the laser drill itself, or above the void, rather. I think we just kind of do this here. Oh, maybe I have to angle these the right way. Oh, yep, certainly do. There we go. Next, we should just be able to... Oh, I forgot the power cell itself. I brought the card and everything. Dang it, I was trying so hard not to forget anything, and I forgot the power cell. I even remembered the linking card for the power cell. Like, goodness me. Walk of shame, walk of shame. Oh no, it's something I realized on my walk of shame. I have the excavator bag here in my inventory, and I've had it the whole time. This has power cells in it, with cards. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 2 walks of shame. Truly, your content creator is washed, I hate to say it. We need to hook power up to each of these laser drills, which each feed into this laser base. Thankfully, these laser drills can each receive a speed, or an energy upgrade, excuse me. They can receive speed upgrades as well, but I would prefer to see what this kind of looks like in terms of cost to begin with before really committing to this. We're just gonna hook up some energy cables here. Nothing special. And see how this works to start us off. Well, it's working. Not particularly fast. What's the RF cost like? Goodness me. Nah, that's enough of you. Turn that down to 5 for right now. Oh, maybe I need to raise it for Iridium? Yeah, between 5 and 68 it said, so let's take this to 10 maybe. There we are. I mean, that's Iridium. It says it right in the name. It doesn't spell it how I remember it, though. Let's try with 2 laser lenses. Maybe that'll help focus our drill. Ah, there we go. That's what we're talking about. We need 4 of these for the quest, I believe. Oh, actually, before I... Oh, 0. Let me rebuild this. Alright, there we go. Now we've got this all localized to 1 chunk. You'll see why shortly if you're not entirely familiar with why. And we should just be able to put the power cell back in, put the focuses back in, and it looks like it's already doing the work. Quite literally. Get the energy upgrades back in, that'll help out our costs. Which it looks like it's about 12 RF per tick, is that? Per drill? That's like nothing, if that's the case. I should bring a power monitor over here just for certainty's sake. And just like that, we're already making Iridium again. Easy. In terms of item output, though, our options are still a little lacking, so we're just going to work with this small storage crate for now. And it'll just be a simple buffer like the drawers used to be for our excavators. No. Well, maybe we need a filter. But beyond that, I'm sure we're fine. While we're here, though, we should claim it and chunk load it. In, I believe this is FTB Teams or something like that. This is how we claim and load chunks in this pack, is you just go here, click it, chunk load it, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm not sure if I can edit a config down here for the loaded chunks. If need be, I'll see if I can edit this, if this ever becomes an issue, but I'd like to just see if we can keep it under that. Uh-oh, because you have a visitor. I guess I should probably put some slabs on this place, huh? Yeah, it should just be easy. Just put a blacklist on this. And then now it should only take out the ores. Wonderful. Ooh, we have a good amount. 16 already to start. It'll only get more. It'll only get more. I'll also brought the power monitor here to, well, monitor the power of how much is actually taking. About 400? Wait, actually, no, that's incredible, right? Like, that's crazy. The excavators were like 1,000. I suppose these are a lot slower, so I could probably throw in some speed upgrades, but still. Wow. That's like nothing at all. That's really something. These are definitely going to be our new ore makers. These things are great. So looking at the ways to process our new Iridium ore, it looks like far and away the best is going to be, at state present, the sag mill because of its ability to use these grinding balls. Later on, we might use this pyro concentrator, which seems to be able to quadruple it, as well as giving us a platinum. But something like that, I'm definitely going to want to wait until we do ore processing, which might be this episode, honestly. But it's interfaces or ore processing. I'm thinking it's probably going to be interfaces. So maybe next time. But for now, we're just running the sag mill. We've got these end steel grinding balls, which we actually probably shouldn't use right now. Although I suppose we have to clear the whole thing of it. They're not as good as what I would want. We have some higher grinding balls, like this one. I think it's the Vibrant Alloy grinding balls that we typically use for this kind of thing. Has 175 main output, which actually probably would be a lot better for us to start with, but oh well, it's fine. And then we'll just skip the queue of this nickel we've been processing manually. Ooh, and our first bit of Iridium pooling in. Drill it into your brain. Now that we have Iridium, our next quest is going to be for these methodology processors, which needs Osmiridium, which is quite unsurprisingly just alloying osmium and iridium. So we'll turn what we have here into Osmiridium, and then we'll see how far that gets us. Coming back to use our inscribers really kind of does feel like the place is in a little bit of a state of disarray around here. Some of these still work fine, but a lot of them have a lot of bringing up to scratch that need doing. This just doesn't even work. I think a new code of interfaces will do this place quite nicely very soon. But as it stands, we need to head back to this inscriber setup and make this work with our methodology processors for the time being. Though this should still work, theoretically at least. It's making processors, or the circuits. Does it take the circuits to places? No, it would help if you're actually extracting from the machine. And there's our first processor. Hey, look at that. Oh, I guess that was our second. Ooh, a trophy! Yippee! So let's collect our quest. Or Iridium ore, molecular assemblers, a stack of crafting tables. That's actually really awesome. Start by putting our trophy on top of our second shell. Hey, we've gotten to a second shell? That's something. Taking a moment up here, it feels almost kind of surreal. I really didn't think I would get this far when I started playing the pack, but we've gotten quite a ways, and it feels like this is the part where it really does feel like everything changes from here. Let's get an actual shopping list of what we want and what we can actually make, and put all this good stuff to use, huh? So to start, we're going to need interfaces, which really is a bunch of stuff that we can already do. These processors, I mean, we just did, obviously. Electrical steel we've had on passive for a while. These industrial machine chassis, I made up a good batch of these. And then these cores are also really just processors and stuff. Looks like we can make quite a few of them without having to actually make any more, so let's go 16 of both, and then we should just be able to... Oof. Let's start with... I guess we're starting with 7. Oh, we're here. I will take those cables kindly, because I kind of haven't made any in a while, or I haven't made a ton in a while, and I've been putting it off for a while. Next, let's do molecular assemblers, which seems to be more of the same, but we also need the formulaic assemblator, which doesn't seem that crazy. You know what, though? We actually are short on crafting tables, so that stack of crafting tables is going to be really nice. And 5 of these. Yoink. Oh man, last time I'm going to have to do this by hand, too. Everything changes now. It's been a while since we've done some real work down here, so it feels kind of good to get back into it. What I want to do is I want to have this sort of glass viewing panel for the cabling down here, sort of leading off as tunnels to a few of these auto-crafting towers made of these interfaces and molecular assemblers. There's going to be some probably CPUs here, and then I'm thinking these sort of a handful of these 3x3 towers here that hopefully give us ideally enough auto-crafting patterns to get us through the pack, but I am very hesitant to believe that it will, but we'll try. I get something kind of like this. We've got this big black tunnel just kind of down here as like a cable area, just sort of almost like just to look through the viewing glass because I think it looks cool. We've got the cyan down here. That's going to be all the Applied Energistics stuff. You'll see that that's over here too, because there's a cable back there that's also cyan. So cyan's the Applied Energistics part of the base, which hopefully that doesn't get confusing to me. But should just be able to put these last few cables in. We should start seeing lights. Oh yeah, device online. All right. And these should each hold 4 channels currently because there's only 2 of these interfaces per connection. So if you're new to Applied Energistics, or especially the more advanced aspects of it, a lot of this can be very confusing or just the mystical box is doing magic things. So let me try and kind of walk through the steps here. So the heart and soul of this is the interface. The interface basically lets the system import and export items from within its brain, or typically the drives over there, with anything connected to it. Currently the only things connected to it are the cable, which turns it online, and these molecular assemblers, of which in total there will be 1 on 3 sides. These molecular assemblers are effectively little crafting tables that, when provided with a pattern through the interface here, can craft a thing for you. Effectively, like, let's say we wanted to craft like a wooden pickaxe, for example. We could have a recipe in here to put the 3 planks up here, the 2 sticks, into here, set it into that pattern, and that recipe would be made in here, and then come back to the system once it's done. So each of these interfaces can hold, by default, 9 patterns. So currently we only have a stockpile of 72 patterns, which sounds like a lot, but it isn't. For example, when you're thinking of making that wooden pickaxe, you have to make the planks, and you have to make the sticks, and then you make the pickaxe, which is 3 whole patterns, or 3 recipes, excuse me, for 1 recipe, frankly, right? So going overkill is usually the best way to do this kind of thing, I find, which is honestly the best way that I find to do a lot of things in modern Minecraft, is going far away in overkill. Going back to these interfaces, though, these interfaces additionally let you do this with kind of anything with a GUI. For example, you could hook up an interface to a furnace, and you could say supply it with a wooden plank and a log to make a charcoal. And sure enough, if you apply a wooden plank to the fuel slot to smelt 1 item, and a log to the top to smelt into charcoal, it will return charcoal. You can do this with basically anything. And as I'm sure we'll see more and more throughout the pack, the concept of what you can classify a recipe as gets very loose with a creative definition of what a recipe in Minecraft is as a person. That's me. But in order to make patterns, we need to actually have a pattern terminal for that. And for that, it looks like we're going to need, we're going to want both the pattern and the interface terminal. Looks like we're going to need 2 more of these crafting terminals, so let's do that real quick. And we should be able to make the pattern terminal and the interface terminal. Quests? Yay, quests! Yippee! Oh, for interface. No, nothing for... Oh, well, I guess we have to actually hold the pattern, huh? So let's make a pattern for the pattern quest. I'll take all that. And then the pattern terminal quest. Thank you. It looks like we need a few more spaces here on this gamer station of sorts. Well, it's a little lopsided at the moment, but we'll fix that in due time. To begin though, let's start with, fixing the look at this pattern terminal. Look at this. This is hideous. Can you believe that? Sorted by, what was that, item name first? Terrible. Let's just throw some patterns in. And the first pattern to encode is, you know it, the blank pattern recipe. Oh, what was that? Preventing. No, actually, I think order substitution is fine. Let's, reset it. The pattern recipe! Ah! The interface recipe, and all the things to make an interface. So, formation cores get a pattern, and annihilation cores get a pattern. Toss those in. But in order to actually start auto-crafting, we need a computer to auto-craft for us. So we need to make ourselves some of these co-processing units and crafting storages. There's a few different sizes of these. Basically, they let you increase the size of the craft you want to make. But this is a pack where I feel like half measures are punished, so we need to go all the way. And by that I mean not really all the way. 16K should be fine for a while. By the time we need a 64K crafting storage, I feel like we'll probably be able to like spit these things out without having to care about it even a little bit. I suppose we could go all the way, because 256 is where we're hard cut off. But I feel like making this many 16Ks for something we're not going to use to its fullest extent doesn't feel particularly worth it. 16K should suit us plenty. So down at the start of this rabbit hole is a crafting unit, and we also need these for the co-processing units. So we're going to want a lot of these. The multi-blocks all have to be square, so I'm thinking we start by making 4 crafting units. So we're probably going to have one 16K and 3 of these co-processing units per. So in total we're going to need 16 of these crafting units, which seems quite doable, actually. Like, this seems pretty darn easy at our stage of the game. It really pays that we made a whole stack of that cosmic alloy, I'm telling you. Quest! So it looks like we might actually have to make a 64K for this quest. I don't really know what this is talking about, so I'm really interested in that. And then, of course, we're going to need to make the co-processing unit as well. How many times am I going to swap pronunciations on that today, huh? Crazy. Oh, there's our 1K. And the 4K. Oh, we didn't actually stop to get that done. Well, that's fine. It shouldn't be that hard to make the 1K again. And the 16K. Well, while I'm waiting for a bunch of stuff for the 64K to finish cooking up, should be able to just make the 12 of these that I want. Yeah, it's 12. Quest. There we are. What do I get? Gimme. Electrical steel? I'll take electrical steel, that's fine. I guess we'll just have the one 64K and then a 16K storage. That's fine. Something like this should work, and it should hook up. Device online. Alright. Let's give it a whirl. Let's ask for an interface. We already have all that. Let's ask for 10 interfaces. Oh, oh, that's cool. That's so good. What a cool little pop-up. That's really something. All right, well, let's put these to use, right? I'd probably also swap the patterning out on this too, aware something that I like. But oh, we did it. I'm gonna do a lot of making this 4 times bigger, and then I'll see you back shortly. This buffer's got to increase. Taking it to 8 times because it looks like just about everything here is going to take a lot of electrical steel. Yeah, just about everything here needs electrical steel. Every interface, every molecular assembler, we're going to need a lot, so let's get those numbers up. And that should be our 64K storage. And a quest. Wonderful. It's a nice quest. 4 crafting units. What is this? Oh, okay, they're just bigger ones. But they're locked behind Botania. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, pattern expansion card. That's pretty cool. This is cool. Alright. I guess it's from GTNH. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Thank you, New Horizons. We'll set this one down here, and this one down here. I'm not sure if there's any way to, like, prioritize these or something, but, I mean, hey, that's working. Let's get those a lot bigger now. I mean, I said that's what I was gonna do, but, you know, quest comes first, you understand. So now we should be able to just make... Oh, not those. 24? Oh, please let it just be so easy. Alright. Alright, cool. Interfaces, we need 16. Are we short on methodology processors? And electrical steel and machine chassis. Alright, those are... Alright, that we gotta hold our horses with a little bit. That's fine, right? How many can we make? Can we do, another 8? No. Most we could do is 4. Well, I suppose we'll do 4 then. Well, a good place to continue with our automation of everything, or automation of automation, really, is by going through all of our machine chassis. I believe this is just about the last thing we need to automate before the interface, besides methodology processors, which we'll come back to. But beyond that, it's machine chassis, you know, you get the idea. There's going to be a lot of crafting recipes that we're going to have to make patterns for, but more than that, we're going to have to do processing recipes for a number of these. For example, tin gears, we're going to have to run through the gear press back here. We're going to have to feed this in with gears and then take it out. Now, thankfully, we do have a number of interfaces already, so I guess we can just try that right now. Unfortunately, I didn't leave myself a ton of space back here. Oof, especially not here. This could actually be a really big problem. Yeah, specifically these machines here, the slice and splice and soul binder, this up on this side, and this side is normally from where we look at it, seem to have the corners really meeting in this really sad spot here. This was certainly some poor foresight by me. I'm not sure if we can really do a ton here. We might have to take our auto-crafting machines elsewhere. The alternative is maybe we just bring these all down a block, or just swap these out entirely with interfaces. I feel like that's probably our best bet, actually, is knocking out all these larger chests and just swapping them out totally with interfaces. I don't hate that, honestly. That's usually how I do things, just set it in the bottom, but I kind of wanted to put it in the back so we could still have the big dump, but I suppose if it's already outputting there, then it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, this should be fine, So I swapped interfaces where I can. Obviously we don't have enough to build the whole row out, but this should get us started. So I'm going to work back to front here. So first off, we want to do steel casings as a recipe. So we'll encode a pattern. Throw it in. Nope, not there. Shift click doesn't work anymore. Right there. Next up, stone burnt. This is going to be another processing pattern. This I will come to shortly, actually. I want to finish that sort of area. And we're also going to be skipping seared brick because of other reasons. So we're just going to be jumping straight to tin gears. So we want to swap this to the processing pattern. We want to turn 4 tin ingots into 1 tin gear. We take this, we can throw it into this gear one right here, slide it in as a pattern. We should be able to make tin gears now. Let's make 8. And it should just, almost forgot. I want this to be IO. So let's turn all of these to input output. Yeah, I should just slide them straight back in here as well. Yep, tin gears done. Great stuff. Next is the pattern for the machine frame. Most of this is pretty easy, save for the seared bricks. Machine chassis, more of the same. We just have to move the Brains of Infinity as it stands. And this is one where we're going to struggle with a little bit, is this enhanced dye blend. The enhanced dye blend, some of this actually isn't going to be a problem at all. Nether quartz dust and crushed lapis are going to be really easy, actually. We can take this to pattern processing, processing pattern, and do these pretty simply. For example, we should just be able to take nether quartz right here. We don't want to bother with any grinding balls, just 1-to-1, and if we get bonus, that's cool. And we'll take it straight into this sag mill here. And that should be able to make nether quartz dust for us. And we'll do the same for crushed lapis here. So the tricky ones, I think, are going to be the green dye and the black dye. The black dye actually shouldn't be a problem either. We should be able to simply use slime balls and coal in an alloy smelter processing pattern, right? Just throw that right in here. And green dye, well, because we can actually make cactus green now, because we have a cactus farm, we can do that. And in both circumstances, we need a pulverized coal recipe, which we will also just call for a sagamil. So the green dye in here, and the coal in there. Oh, actually, I just noticed that's the wrong recipe. That's looking to make pulverized charcoal, pulverized coal. There we are. And that should be our dye blend basically done. Dark seal's already finished, so we should be able to just make the machine chassis, right? Oh, okay, now I actually need a pattern for the industrial machine chassis itself. And slip that right in. And now, can we make some more interfaces? Let's ask for 17 more. Methodology processors and fluix dust and the cactus green recipe. One cactus makes one cactus green. Let's try now. Fluix dust, that's right, I forgot that. Fortunately, we have still just a little bit yet that we have to, or have yet to turn into pure fluix. Third time lucky. Great stuff. Oh, is it already done? Oh! Oh, it's done! I was really hoping to get a cool, like, thematic screenshot, or I guess, like, moment. But I guess it was just waiting for me to turn F1 back on. Yeah, so we're alternating with the assemblers and the interfaces so that each interface is touching 4 molecular assemblers. As you can see, this one, 1, 2, 3, and 4 on that side. It's a really good design, in my opinion at least. Yeah, and there we have our 4 big columns of patterns. Should push come to shove, we can set up, we have space for a second P2P tunnel down there, so we could double the height here and it would touch the roof just about. Plus we have this entire side over here to potentially add to. I'm feeling pretty good about this though. Maybe I'll put those like in, or like recess those into the wall a little bit, or I don't know, maybe I'll push them back, but and now would be the time to move it, and I'm not super sold with where they are currently. Maybe we do push this whole thing into the wall. I'm really torn. I don't know, I'll figure it out and you'll probably see in like a later cut. Alright, next is a little side project, a little sub-mini project that I wanted to do originally quite a long time ago, right when I built this, which would have been super, super long ago. I want to have this, or all these bulk storage on a separate network that I can view just by looking at this terminal right here. To do this, we're going to see if a thing from, I believe, GTNH is in this pack, and hopefully it is. So the idea here is that we take a controller here with a quartz fiber on it, so that it only transfers power, and it doesn't transfer any information. I guess right here probably would be better. So this is only transferring power, and this controller is something totally, totally different now. So then if we hook a storage bus on this of like 10,000, I would say is a super, super high priority, super duper important. And then if we get another cable, I'm also just doing this wrong. So we want to have this hooked up to an interface storage bus, and then we put the interface down, and then we have this on like priority 10,000. So this what it should be doing is it should be providing power without actually touching this, and storage bus on this interface. So this should only show us what's in the drawers up there. So let's actually do it from the right area. So if I open this, oh, that's not good. Oh, well, that's a pretty simple fix, wouldn't you say? Cable anchor right there, and that to connect all that should do the trick just nicely. So now if we head back up there, this should only show us the compacting drawers, and it does, perfect. This is our resources, and if we ever need to just look at our raw resources for whatever reason, or whatever we might want to store in this little closet space, we can come here and look at just this. While, in addition, we still have all of it here. Now the reason this works is because the interface is effectively a thing that the entire network can interact with, right? It's a little bit of a confusing way to put it. But because this is a thing the entire network can interact with, having a storage bus on the entire network lets us see this entire network. And this network is only this controller and this storage bus, because the quartz fiber doesn't pass any channels through. So now we have that kind of partitioned, which is pretty cool. Well, let's take a look at our docket in the meantime. I feel like this is a bit all over the place, but there's a lot of things that I feel like we just need doing. We did do the laser drill. We haven't finished all the drill sites, so we'll get that one at the end. I guess we'll have this one empty right now. Iridium processing. The only thing we're actually missing for that is to throw it up on the wall, which actually, so let's go do that. Let's just do that now. Put the iridium in there, the osmium there, and it should alloy into osmiridium. And we'll throw a storage upgrade on it, and put all this in. And then I just gotta filter the import bus out the back. There we go, and we should see this slowly start to, yeah, one osmium in. Oh, we don't have any iridium in the system, that's why it's not putting it in. Well, if we took this out, we'd watch it go down. Yeah, 589 to 588. Great. That's that. Bam. So next we need to interface literally everything. We have a few everythings still to do. The empowerer is definitely something we want to get patterns for. This is one of those things where the concept of what a recipe is becomes a little bit skewed. What we're going to do here is actually really interesting. We're going to start by hooking up this interface, which should read basically just this chest. And if I take some cable from over here, and I just run it all the way over here, this should now have a channel. And if we open our interface terminal, we should just see chest. So now, here's a $1 million question. If I say wanted to empower my diamantine, for example, come over here, and it asks for one of everything, provided we had the patterns for everything, which we can do at least the platinum gear. We should be able to just put that in there, and of course the platinum gear in the gear one. So should we request a diamantine, it should read all of the things ready, should put it into the chest. We should see laser beams happening. Wonderful. And now effectively we can remotely put things in that chest to do that automated crafting setup. And we got rid of the second chest because now we can just have everything go straight back into the interface, which puts it back into the system. The empowerer is automated. So with the concept of the empowerer automated for interface use, now we just need to put in a bunch more patterns. We will be doing this a lot, so I better get used to it. Going through all of our empower recipes, looks like the only things that we really don't have are snow blocks, which is really, really easy. The glacial precipitator literally solos this. And blaze rods, which we have a few options for, but what's the very likely option is just going to be we're going to get a blaze spawner with one of our several powered spawners that we just have laying around, right? We'll probably throw it up in the actually new and improved mob farm. I did a couple things to this, kind of between cuts here and there, just while waiting on processors to run. I swapped out where the pink slime is actually. Now that we have access to actually additions, I am using a fluid placer, and I'm just having a fluid export bus up there. You'll notice it's not actually putting anything out right now, but that's because we have a level emitter, that's right, forbidden technology that I just haven't used before, to read that if the system has 2048 pink slime, don't put out any more pink slime. So we actually have pink slime storage. We actually have it on a disk now, so it shouldn't be a problem in the future anymore. Like if we head back up to Applied Energistics and take a look at this here fluid terminal, look at that. What a wonderful array of fluids that we can look at. I'm actually never really used the fluid storage stuff before, so it's pretty cool. I'm not used to it. Those are things we'll worry about later though. Well, I'll leave them pinned up here just so I don't forget, but this is interface day. We're doing interfaces for everything. Automate more everything. More everything needs to be automated. I think next I want to do these resonators, specifically the stone burnt. To begin with the stone burnt though, we need the polished stone, so we gotta make this recipe in the pattern terminal real quick. So we hooked up a connection here to a couple interfaces that are swapping or going to replace these hoppers. Using the quartz wrench, we can angle the interface so it outputs automatically, hence the arrow. The problem is that it doesn't output automatically, so we just gotta throw some conduits at the back, but that's a really simple fix for a very nice thing to get automated. A few facades at the back here so that we don't see that white line, and that is that. 3 resonators for autocrafting. So we want to go make some more stone bricks. Ask for 10. And it should just be going up before too long. Yep. 44. Bam. Off the list. So it's the next day now, and I've done a little bit of cleaning up around here. I added some more of the glass and tunneling to this area, as well as did push these back into these little side areas. I've turned the Autocrafting CPUs onto this blue cable, and then basically everything else down here is going to be on cyan. I haven't put in the second set of interfaces yet because I haven't had a need for them, but I'll probably put them in soon, just kind of between projects that I'm working on around here. I'll probably expand these up as well, maybe add another 16K to each of these on top of the 64K with another round of processing units, mostly just because I think it'll look nicer than these baseline ones. What I would like to do today to wrap everything out and sort of tie it all back around is laser drills, though. These laser drills up here I've set up, and really all they need is power and a place to put things. We'll do ore processing probably in this general area next time, but I want to at least start producing ore here. So in my notes here, I've gone through many of the ores that the laser drill can produce, and most of them are either, or rather can be found at either Y10 or Y64. The one exception to this is aluminum, which needs to be at a minimum of 68 or up to 84. We don't really have a need for aluminum at the moment, so that's fine. If we need aluminum at any point, that might be an issue, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Otherwise, I have set up both of these drills at the suitable depth. I just need to throw some energy upgrades, add some power, and add a place to store all of our goodies until we have a proper place to process it all. So I've gone ahead and installed energy upgrades into all of the laser bases here. Or I guess the laser drills, the laser base is the one in the middle. We're gonna do just a power cell here to begin with, nothing too crazy. I would run power from the standard base here, but I kind of want to keep this separate just so we can turn this off like on a dime if we really need to. I don't imagine that will be an issue, but it's better to have the option than to not. So now these should all just be gaining power. They're taking about 100 RF a tick each. Maybe the one in the end was just a lot like slower or something. I don't quite understand. Oh no, it's because it's a simple power cell. It doesn't have the capacity to run all these. That's fine. We're just gonna slap a storage crate down here, and then we're gonna hook up all these conduits so that all the laser bases that the drills are powering output into this crate so that we can look at our goodies when they're all ready. Well, it looks like we're producing fast, and very interestingly, we've somehow gotten cobalt. I don't know how. I suppose I won't complain though. We're getting oil sand as well, which is really good for our energized dark ingot production. And so the only thing we should be missing from actual production at this point is, I believe, aluminum, which is great. Having a automated source of effectively every ore is going to be really good. I might throw some laser lenses in here to focus in on some of the rarer ores, just so we have a bit more of a balance. But I kind of want to let this run for a bit and see what the distribution looks like before we do something like that. If I don't really have to do anything to this, I don't really want to, you know what I mean? I tossed in a handful of speed upgrades. Well, a handful, one into each machine, just a standard basic tier. And the work speed seems to go decently faster. The power cost only went up about 300 RF a tick, which is not too bad at all. Again, this is less than one excavator. Well, actually, this is we're finally eating into about one excavator's worth of power drain, which is a really good place to be at for getting everything for, nothing, right? Looks like the yield is also pretty solid. Again, it's nothing too fast, but this has been about 5 minutes of just kind of sitting here. I feel like that's pretty good. This is not too bad for what it's been worth. A builder in the deep dark might be better, but who really cares? This works, and this is really cheap. Whereas I think builders are really, really power hungry. So I'm really happy with this, actually. Again, we could also increase the speed again, which I might give it a shot. Actually, no, I am going to give that a shot. I'll be right back. So all these drills running at full capacity drains us about 1700 RF a tick, which is still less than 2 excavators, so I'm quite satisfied with this, I gotta say. The work speed is also pretty good. Well, I actually counted the whole thing. It's about 14 seconds per ore, which is pretty good considering we have 2 of these. So 7 seconds for a piece of ore, Feels pretty good, I gotta say. So I'm going to leave this on for quite a while. And I think the last thing we're going to do today is, now that we have Iridium, we can unlock our last 2 tiers of thermal upgrades, which I'm going to do that basically just to get the quest done so that I can do the majority of that off camera and do a lot of speed upgrading to the machines around the base. And of course, if we're going to make new upgrade kits, we may as well encode patterns for all of them, right? So let's just do that. So the thing I'm noticing with these resonant upgrade kits in particular is it takes these black iron slates. We haven't made black iron before. It doesn't seem too out of our scope. We've done dark stone, we've done dark solarium before, but I mean, we just haven't done this before, so, you know, new things to talk about, I guess. But I guess we'll start by just requesting some of this black iron just for, I assume, a quest, right? Oh man, this thing is slow, even with a melodic capacitor. Yeesh. Oh, here's our black iron. We have a quest. Let's see, where's this one at? Oh, chapter 14. Ooh. Extended crafting guide. I guess I'll read through that. They want us to make a frame. We'll worry about that later. Ooh, could I use it for lighting? I wonder. Yeah, we'll worry about all that stuff another time. We're worrying about upgrade kits today. Which, let's see if we can actually make an upgrade kit. Or a Signalum one. So we can do Signalum. About resonant. Missing conductance coils. That's just another pattern add. Right, now. There we go. Looks like it's a lot of stuff that goes into that, though. It's going to take a while just for the Dark Solarium. But let's grab our Signalum upgrade kits. And then the Resonant one should just take a bit. But once it's done, Resonant upgrade kit. Alright. Let's grab that. And that should be a very old quest finished for us. Now, what does that actually give us? Iridium? Sure, I guess. I guess we'll throw these upgrade kits just to start on the gear press here, because this one's going to be one that we're going to use a lot. This and the plate press here. So I'm going to upgrade certainly both these to resonant, which likely also means we're probably going to upgrade our dynamos again. We might not, though. I'm a little torn on the dynamos. There's a couple things that I was thinking about with regards to these. In particular, I believe there was this elemental catalyzer, which I was kind of thinking about. This thing's really cool because we can turn pyrotheum and cryotheum, or orothium and petrotheum, into a lot of power. I want to say this was a little bit more efficient, or not efficient, but a little bit more brute force in terms of, I think I tested it in a test world and it was around another 120 RF or so on top of what we're producing with rocket fuel. Really, it was about 2 or 3, I want to say it was 3 augments worth of power for the price of 1 augment, but we have to move everything to orothium and petrotheum more than likely, which is not too bad because obviously we make those passively, and very passively, given that this is a process that we just need all the time. But I'm not entirely sold on doing it because I'm not sure how scalable it is. I'm not sure if it's worth it to be scalable. I'm not sure if rocket fuel is going to suffice. And additionally, I'm not sure how much rocket fuel we're really gonna need, you know? Looking forward to the end of this chapter, we have to automate the rainbow generator. The rainbow generator produces 25 million RF a tick when it's active. Even if we only have it active for a couple seconds at any given time, that's a lot of power that we can just store. I'm not sure if it's feasible to have it running so consistently, given the nature of some of the generators we need to have working with the Rainbow Gen, but it's something I want to think about, definitely before we go willy-nilly upgrading all these dynamos, especially considering we're not even running to power issues at the current moment either. Hi, it's me, Jump Cut. We kind of are running into a little bit of power issue. Data's been going down quite steadily from various things. The laser drills have been running for quite a while, and it's starting to eat into our power quite significantly. Our current upkeep at the base is around 5,000 to 6,000 RF a tick at most times, which is only really just barely able what we're able to produce with the dynamos, but it is still producible. We are still maintaining a net positive, but the potatoes are going into a net negative. We could replace a lot of the now defunct flax crops with potatoes, but that is sort of just a band-aid fix. It's probably fine for what we need, but it's something to keep note of. Oh, and I did lie, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to get. I wanted to get a Fluix Pearl. so that I could get a wireless terminal. This is stuff that we've seen before. None of this is really standout or crazy to us, but I figured I'd just keep you in the loop of, hey, I'm gonna make a wireless terminal, and I'll probably be able to use it by the time next episode starts, so, you know, be aware of that if you see me just suddenly opening the terminal. I think that'll keep us sorted for today. We did a lot, honestly. The rate at which we can do more things has increased infinitely. We have ore generation, we have autocrafting, we have better upgrades for the remaining machines that we couldn't yet upgrade. Things are really looking up. Until I certainly, inevitably, next time open up the quest book and things start looking down as I see all the pitfalls ahead of me. But we ride high here. Pitfalls are for those who are fallible, and I am not one of hubris, of course. I just have a large ego. One that maybe is large enough to earn a like, or perhaps even a subscription. Oh, I hope you enjoyed. And, you know, if you did like it, you know, like the video, you know, the YouTuber thing. Anyway, bye-bye.